Hey, how's it going? So today I wanted to talk about what healing really is, because a lot of people sort of don't really understand what healing is, and most people's definition of healing isn't what healing actually is. And so I wanted to clear this up and talk to you about what healing is at the core, so you know what I'm talking about when I refer to healing in the future, and so you know what we're working towards when we're doing healing. Most people consider emotional healing to just be about feeling better. They think that if you have mental health issues and emotional issues, and then all of a sudden you feel better and they're not there anymore, they think that that's what healing is and that's all that it is. But actually, this isn't what healing is. People who have this definition of healing and think that healing is just feeling better often don't actually solve their issues at the root, and then they end up feeling better, but then later on their issues come up again and they wonder why it happens because they thought they had healed them. So in reality, healing's not just about feeling better, it's about emotional integration. As I've said before, pretty much all mental health issues come from trauma in some way, and so mental health issues are just emotional blockages. When you go through trauma, a part of yourself gets physically separated from you, and then emotional triggers and mental health issues get created as a way for this part of you to try and call your attention back to it in an attempt to get you to address it and to help it and to integrate it. That means you only heal when you integrate this part of yourself that was hurt and lost during trauma, and you only heal when it becomes a part of you again. Because the emotional issues and mental health issues are just this part of yourself trying to call your attention back to it, if you get rid of those, that doesn't mean you've healed anything. Feeling better, of course, happens as a result of healing, but it's not what healing is itself. Healing is integrating the lost and separated parts of yourself, which results in you becoming more whole and more authentic. So healing and becoming more authentic are pretty much the same thing. A really good analogy that Teal Swan came up with is comparing this to a physical wound, like a broken bone or something. So if you break a bone and then you get painkillers like morphine or Novocaine or something, and then you feel better, that doesn't mean you've healed at all. Like the bone is still broken. You only heal when the bone itself mends and heals, and then you feel better as a result of that. When people think of emotional healing as just feeling better, that's the same as just feeling better when having a physical wound from taking painkillers or something. Like, that's not healing at all. I wanted to show how this stuff happens with a diagram to make it easier for you to understand, but before I show that, you should watch my episode on why it's important to see yourself as multiple parts, because I'm going to be talking a bit about parts work with this example, so it's important that you understand how that works. Also, I have other episodes on trauma and how it gets created and things like that, and that'll give you more information on this stuff and how it works, so you should check those out as well. So in this diagram, we have the conscious mind here and the unconscious here. So conscious mind is what you're generally aware of, and then the unconscious mind is what you're not aware of. It's your shadow, which is why I colored it in, so it sort of implies that it's the darkness of your mind, what you're not aware of and things like that. So as a child, you start out as being whole like this. So all these parts here, I just wrote out a few parts. Obviously, there's way more parts than this to you. So here's like 3 emotions. Here's the need for connection, a character trait like being unintelligent, another emotion. So your parts consist of emotions, character traits, and your emotional needs. Like I said, there's way more than this. This is just what I could fit in here just for this example. So for this example, let's say that you're a little kid and maybe something makes you angry and you sort of express that anger and like try to defy it or push it away in some way, and then your parents tell you off or tell you that that's bad or that you shouldn't do that or that you're wrong for doing that. Say that you're talking back to them or something, and then your parents say, no, that's wrong, you're not allowed to talk back to me or something like that. Just the parent shames you in some way, and so this part of you that is anger, it receives shame. It's felt like it's wrong or bad in some way, And so as a child, you can't handle that emotion, and so it's too strong for you to deal with on your own. And so as a result, you dissociate, which means the shame around this part of you gets too strong and it gets pushed outside of your mind into your unconscious. And so what I'm talking about here is dissociative trauma, which you can learn more about from my episode on how trauma works and what trauma is. So when that shame gets too strong and it dissociates and it gets pushed out of your mind, it goes into your unconscious mind and it essentially gets paused. So in that moment of trauma where you feel the shame towards that anger, that part of you is sort of stuck in that state. And so it lives there in your unconscious mind, and you just continue to live your life in this state of like this whole model. So you have a part of you that's separated and it's in that state and whatever. So down the road, when you're an adult, this part of you that has been separated from you, it starts to create emotional issues and mental health issues. For example, because it's anger, you'll sort of get triggered by things. You'll probably be known for having a short temper, and you'll be angered easily. You'll be sensitive around the issue of anger. Like, you won't like being considered angry because that's a part of yourself that you reject. You'll get issues around anger and what those are this part of yourself sort of calling back to the conscious mind in attempt to get you to notice it and to look at it and acknowledge it, in attempt for you to, if you acknowledge this part of yourself, that will allow you to address it and to heal it and to integrate it. And so what most people think of as healing, as feeling better, are taking these sort of calls from this part, trying to ask you to heal through giving you like emotional triggers and things like that. They think that if you just get rid of those triggers and those mental health issues, then that means you're healed. But that doesn't mean you're healed at all, because this part of yourself is still separated from you. And so what healing means is to go back to this part of yourself that has been separated from you and rejected and blocked and everything like that, to go into its emotions and sort of feel through everything and allow it to be released. Because like I said, when that trauma happens, this part of you sort of gets paused. And so by going back to it, like when it gives you the emotional triggers and you go back to it in response to help it, by diving into those emotions and facing them and feeling through them, you're basically pressing play on that traumatic event and allowing everything to process and to be released. And when that happens, that part of you is no longer stuck in time, and it's no longer repressed or separated from you, because you've given love and understanding to the shame that was around it, and you've allowed it all to release. And so by facing those emotions and processing them, that allows this part of you to come back to you and become a part of you again. And as you can see, you're now whole, and this part of yourself is no longer in your unconscious. And that is what healing really is. And once you get to that state, you won't have any mental health issues, because you won't have a need for it. There won't be a part of you in your unconscious mind that needs to call out for you to get your attention or anything. And so because there will be no need for the emotional triggers, you won't have any. And so what I've just described here, this is what emotional integration is, and this is what healing really is. And so it's really important that this is what you aim to do and work towards when doing healing. Anything other than that it's just about feeling better, that's just symptom relief, and that isn't really going to help you. This depth and level of healing where you integrate the part of yourself, this will completely change your life if you can manage to do it. Just feeling better won't do that much for you, and you'll still have this wound deep down. So hopefully this diagram was helpful to you, and it made it clear to you. When you don't heal at the root in this way, the wound and the pain still affect your life and still affect you deep down. Even though you might feel better, you still won't be your authentic self, and you still won't be whole in who you truly are. You'll probably still struggle with a lot of the things that come with shame and trauma, like a feeling of emptiness, like neuroses and bad habits and things like that, holding tension in the body from trauma. It'll also be possible for your mental health issues to come up again in the future since you haven't really resolved them properly. Overall, the wound will still exist inside you and it'll still affect you in different ways, which you probably won't be aware of. So it's really important that you understand that healing is not just feeling better, it's about integration. And if just because you feel better, it doesn't mean that you've healed. Most healing techniques and therapies these days are just about feeling better and they don't lead to integration in any way. And because of that, they don't work very well. They're only providing a surface solution and symptom relief, but really the core problem and the core wound still exists deep down, and so in reality you haven't healed at all. Like I said in the past, on this channel I only care about teaching the deepest and the most effective healing techniques, and so this sort of root level healing is the only stuff that I'm going to be teaching on this channel, and I plan to provide a lot of information on it. So that's everything for this video. I hope this cleared some things up. I think it's really important for you to understand that this is what healing really is, because if you think that healing is just feeling better, you're not really going to resolve your issues at the root, and you're going to continue to struggle with, like, even if you don't have mental health issues and you feel better, you'll still struggle from symptoms of trauma and through other ways that the mental health issues can affect you, and you won't live as happy or fulfilling as a life as you could have if you heal the right way. If you heal deep down and fully integrate the lost part of yourself, it'll change your life more than you could possibly imagine because of how much it helps you and how many things it solves. And so it's really important that you make this deep level of healing and integration the thing that you want and the thing that you're pursuing. And again, I'll be teaching on how to do this and giving lots of information on how to do it, so you don't have to worry about where to find this information. But it's really important that you focus on this deep level of healing, because this will change your life and help you so much more than any other surface level of healing. So yeah, that's everything for today. I hope this was helpful to you. Please leave a like on this video if you liked it. Leave a comment if you have any questions or if there's anything you want to say. And make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this and if you want to learn about how to heal at the deepest level in the future. And I'll see you in my next video.